I am Jennie Joseph. I am a midwife and an activist. I fight for families. I fight for you. Perinatal means the time around birth and includes before pregnancy, during pregnancy, labor and delivery, postpartum, and any time in between. The perinatal pause provides the time to reflect on the root causes of where we are, where we've been, and to create strategies for how we can transform maternity care in America. Have you heard of the word perinatal before? I named this podcast the Perinatal Pause for a reason. But what do you think of when you hear that word, perinatal? Maybe you're like a lot of folk who think, oh, she means prenatal. I know what prenatal care is. I know what prenatal means. It means pregnancy or having a baby. Before the baby's born, you're prenatal. I know that part. Okay, yeah, that's true. But I wanted to raise awareness around this word, perinatal, because as far as I'm concerned, we have a massive perinatal problem in the United States of America. And that is because so many, in fact, too many people are suffering due to pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and even in between of babies. Perinatal is the word that covers that time frame. It literally means around birth. So that includes before you're pregnant, during the pregnancy, during the labor period, the delivery stage, postpartum, immediate postpartum, as well as long-term postpartum, which really can go on forever. As some of my friends have told me, they feel postpartum is forever. But we count it generally up to a year after the baby. And then again, between pregnancies. So perinatal is a real all-around encompassing word. And I want to use that word, and I want to reach as many people as I can with that word. Because again, as I said, we have a problem. We have a perinatal problem. So what's that problem? Well, people are dying or nearly dying or being harmed during their pregnancies, their delivery, or their postpartum period in the USA today. Black women especially are succumbing at higher rates. 3 to 4 times as many black women as white women are being harmed or lost during their perinatal period. Equally high for Native and Indigenous women and people. We are seeing these statistics not only holding, but the numbers are rising. So overall, maternal deaths or maternal mortality and maternal ill health or poor health is morbidity. That's the word for, not doing well. Maternal mortality, maternal morbidity is on the rise in the USA today. The most recent statistics that were put out by the CDC pointed out that change and the increase. But it also confirmed that yet again, the disparity also remains. The difference between Black and Indigenous folk and white. There's a problem. This is not normal. This is the most resourced country in the entire world. There is more available funding and technology and support than anywhere else in the world. So what's the excuse? As far as I'm concerned, it's unconscionable, it's egregious, it's a human rights violation in full sight, and it has to stop. And so I created a podcast, The Perinatal Pause, because not only do I want to share and bring awareness to the word perinatal and why we need to talk about it, but I also feel like in order to talk about it, we need a pause. So let me explain. Who needs that pause? Well, I say first and foremost, families, birthing parents need that pause. It is the worst thing to be expecting a child at this point in time because of the fear that just shows up immediately when there's a positive test, when there's a sense of, am I ready? Am I not? How am I going to manage? Will I survive? What a horrendous question to have to ask yourself in the most developed country in the world. But that's what's reality now for so many people, especially people of color. Fear about whether or not you're going to be okay through the experience of bringing life, the experience which should be filled with joy, filled with promise, filled with excitement, filled with love. So the pause is so that we can say, hold on, families, hold on, birthing parents, hold on, hold on, hold on. Can we settle everybody down a minute while we try to figure this out? We have to be able to breathe not only through our labor and delivery, but through this moment in time. We have to be able to find our inner peace. We have to be able to find our joy, because we have to survive this era that we're in. We need a pause. So yes, the families, but also the providers. I really make it a point to speak about the providers and the impact of this perinatal situation on them. We as providers, I'm a midwife, but I'm talking about the nurses, the OBGYNs, the family practice doctors. I'm talking about the doulas, the childbirth educators, the lactation educators, the community health workers. I'm talking about the medical folk on the ground who are dealing with having to act like this is okay, or that our efforts are doing something when we know they're not. That pain, that frustration, that moral injury that keeps all of us in this sort of pretend cognitive dissonance around what's happening has us all burnt out, has us stressed out, has us scared as well. At the end of the day, what a helpless situation that we are in right now. So it's time for us as professionals, as providers, to take a perinatal pause as well, because we're running around like chickens with the heads cut off and we're not making any real progress here. We need to stop, regroup, think this through. We need to take a minute. And so I've recently literally took a pause. And even though I really didn't know what to expect, because it's been practically decades since I actually did something like that, the value of that was so replenishing. I had a moment just to stop. I literally left the country. I got as far away as I could, halfway across the world, and I took that breath. Well, I was recently in Bali, Indonesia, and it was the most amazing experience I've had in probably my entire life, let me be honest. I was there for a couple of work reasons. One, I had a conference at the beginning of my stay, and I had a conference at the end of my stay. But let me tell you, Bali is the most amazing place. I've never felt such peace. I've never felt such a spiritual presence, a continued sense of calm and care and well-being. The island is beautiful, obviously, but it was more. It was, yes, the people, yes, the food, but it did something for me on a level I was not expecting. And it really just allowed me to literally pause. And I found some peace. And I found my spirit renewed, and my sense of well-being came back, and my general sense of we can make it through this. And I found it so valuable. And I want to just share that no matter what, all of us can work together to address this issue, but we have to be smart about it. We have to figure out how we can do it so we as providers, as well as the families, can prevail, so that we can find our peace as we explore and understand these true causes, the root causes of this problem, this perinatal problem, and as we figure out together how to solve it. And I suggest the first point of call is take a break, have a pause. Take that deep breath and pause. Here's my call to action. Here's what you can do right now. Can you add your prayers? Put on your thinking cap. How can you be a part of the solution? there's a movement going on here. We are building a movement to birth a more just and loving world. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already part of that movement. Share, like, do all the things, but also please take care of yourself so you can help us win this fight for our perinatal safety, our perinatal power, our return to our family and community peace that we so deserve.
Stay connected by following us on Instagram at I am Jennie Joseph or visiting our website www.jenniejoseph.com.